Hello there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast for the week of April 8th through the 14th. I have already cleared your cards, and so now I'm just putting the final shuffle on them before I start to put them down. What we're going to be looking at is main themes in certain areas of your life during the week here, Sagittarius. So let's take a peek. And then the other thing that you need to know is at the end of this video, if there's somebody here to ask any questions, I'll answer one question for somebody who is here if they have one. Not every video had somebody that had a question so far. I think that's been kind of interesting. I would have thought people would be jumping on that. Okay. All right, Sagittarius. So the first card that I'm looking at talks to me about your environment. And your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Usually it shows up as home, but I have had people tell me that that's work or that's school. Okay. So for your environment, I'm seeing the word I'm hearing. So sorry, guys. The word I'm hearing is money pit. So whatever environment this is that we're talking about for you, you're spending a lot of money to be in that environment, or you're spending a lot of money because you're in that environment. For some of you, I feel like this could even be your work and that there's really not any good options for food that aren't ridiculously expensive for lunchtime fare. But for others of you, this could be that you're doing major renovations, or maybe something happened. Maybe there was a hot water heater that broke or something like that. And you had to take money out of savings to cover that, or you had to take out more money than you were expecting to maintain your environment. Okay. Or to maintain in your environment, I'm being told. Now, let's look at subconscious leanings for you Sagittarians. And by the way, this is a general reading. I didn't mention that earlier. And so for a general reading, not everything is going to apply to every single Sagittarius who watches this. If you would like to get a reading that I can look at just your particular energy, all you have to do is check out my website to get my contact information and then get a hold of me. My website is www.amista.info. So, subconscious leaning, Sagittarius, you are really focusing on something that you want to manifest, some type of goal that you're wanting to reach, something that you're wanting to bring into your life. And your subconscious is really focused on, okay, how do we do that? How can we pull that off? And this has a very confident feel. I think that your subconscious is coming up with great ideas that it's going to be sharing with you shortly. Let's see. Next thing that I see talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style. All right. So, learning style. I feel like you're just picking up information everywhere you go. You're curious enough that, you're kind of following your nose wherever it leads you. So, whatever types of things that you want to know about, your curiosity takes you right there, and you're able to pick up that information pretty quickly, in part because of that curiosity. And also in part because, you have an intellect that works very well. Okay, so Sagittarius, let's look at communication style. I do believe that there is a lot of communication. This is coming in two ways. So I've got two different paths here as far as manifestation for you Sagittarians. So for some of you, it's going to be one way. For some of you, it's going to be another. So for some of you Sagittarians, there's a lot of communication about love, like romantic style love this week. So there could be, you could have a friend that is just head over heels over their person, and they could be talking about them so much you're getting really sick of hearing that other person's name, just kind of because they're just so in love. Or it could be that you are that person. You are that person that's so in love that you're talking about the person you're in love with so much everybody else is about to gag from overkill. All right. Actually, it's not a bad place to be, to have that kind of energy flowing for sure. And then the other way that this can come in is some of you Sagittarians are going to be communicating with people around you in a much more intimate way than what you normally would. Okay. So this can even be something like going to group therapy and sharing things that you wouldn't share with your normal people that you hang out with. This can be just generally opening up and being more open with your communication too, without any necessarily type of push or catalyst for that to happen. Just you're now feeling more comfortable around the people that you're hanging out with. All right, so that's learning style and communication style for the week, Sagittarius, at least the main themes of them. And then next, what I'm looking at is work. Now, work to me can be that way that you make a living. It can also be those things that you do to improve your inner character. So we're going to look at both of those, Sagittarius. So what I've got coming up for work for you, it looks like you've got not a lot getting done fast. It's not because you're not putting out energy or effort, but it looks like you're putting out energy or effort, Sagittarius, and you're getting close to hitting the goal, and then somebody comes along and changes the goal. And so they're making things different and difficult. And so you kind of have to start from scratch every time that goal gets changed. So I feel like in work, you're not feeling very productive because you keep getting thrown. Okay, that's pretty good, but I need it to all be blue. And that's pretty good, but I need it to all be in filing cabinets or whatever. I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head, but things are just changing continuously. So it's hard for you to feel like you're actually making any headway at work. Now, as far as inner work, it looks to me like you have been recently interacting with someone who can be quite flaky. And I think your inner work is coming to terms with that whole idea that this person is flaky and trying to decide, okay, am I okay with flaky? Can I roll with that? Or do I need to spend less time with this person and start spending more time with people who I can count on more? Okay, so that's what I see coming up as far as inner work. Figuring out just how much flaky you can handle. Now, the next thing that I have coming up talks to me about that part of you that's being grown or expanded right now, Sagittarius. And what this is saying is that you are finding ways to relieve your stress. So, where you're overly worried about other people, you're finding new perspectives, you're finding new ways to look at this so that that worry does not haunt you all the time. All right? That's where the part of your personality which is being grown or expanded during the week. Next, we have what you're standing up for. And it's interesting. I feel like there's somebody around you who is a little bit needy or a little bit clingy, and you're kind of standing up for that person. You might be saying, well, they're new. They don't know the ropes yet, or this, or that, or the other. You're standing up for that person. You're not worried about them being clingy. Somebody else is. Somebody's confronting you about why are you letting them get away with that? But you're not worried about it. Okay. Now, the next thing that we have coming up talks to me about how other people perceive you. It looks to me like other people are seeing you as someone who prioritizes other people over yourself, that you make other people more important than you. So that's how the objective person on the outside is looking in. That is also my grain of salt card. People on the outside don't always know the full story, so they may not, their view of us may be warped. Let's look at the pivotal part of this week. This is where the energy starts to shift and change. It looks like there is somebody that you were, what's the word I want to use? Collaborating with. Thank you. The word you do have somebody that you have been collaborating with, or that you had plans to collaborate with, and now it looks like all of a sudden that person is gone. Something has happened. You're left holding the sack, and I feel like you do a really good job when you're left holding the sack. In fact, but I think it is kind of a shock that the person that you have been wanting to collaborate with us on this, when it comes down to the moment of truth, they're not there. They've vanished. Okay? They may have a good reason, but still you're going to have to deal with the repercussions of that. All right. So, picking up the slack on something where you were collaborating, what happens with this, it puts you in a very interesting situation. okay? Because it makes you look really, really fantastic that you're handling this thing. But the other person, it looks like the results could be kind of devastating to the other person. It may even be that if you guys were supposed to be handling this project together or something together and you handled all of it, it may be that the bosses say, you know what, we don't really need that other person. Let's get rid of them. It could be something as big as that, even that you're witnessing here. All right. But as far as for you, you're coming out of this smelling like a rose and doing really well. Now, ultimately, what this leads to is that you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. Are you going to leave the negative stuff behind? Are you going to leave your life non stressful? Or are you going to invite all that stress back in? Okay. That's going to be your decision. All right. Since nobody has typed a question here in the chat box for me to answer, I'm just going to close out this reading. I hope that you find it helpful, Sagittarius. If you would like to schedule a reading or a Reiki session with me, all you have to do is find my contact information on my website and then just get a hold of me. I do try to schedule things in pretty quickly. My website is www.amista.info. I-N-F-O. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. If I don't see you before that, peace out.